Hello, hello. Welcome to or welcome back to Soul Whispers with Michelle. I'm so happy to have you here with me. This is a soul-led message, which means if it doesn't resonate deep within you or if you're fighting with the story in any sort of way, please leave it behind for the souls that it is meant to find. May love hold you, may truth guide you, and may you be released from what is not yours. And so it is, my friends. Okay, so I was getting into some journaling yesterday, and I decided I kind of wanted to make this a spread. Now, I want to encourage everybody who sticks with me through this to go ahead and listen to this if that feels good, right, and true for you, basically. But also with the questions that I'm asking, you might get, like, as soon as I ask it, your subconscious may give you the answer. And I really want you to pay attention to that when these questions pop up, because you have your own intuition, you have your own knowledge and like fountain of information, so to speak. So pay attention to what comes up for you when these questions come up. Now I'm going to go through with cards too and interpret what I'm seeing here. Without any further ado, let's get into it. All right. So the first question is, I should have said off the top, this is a little bit for pattern disruption, and to get to the unconscious layer of why you're in certain patterns. Okay. So what do you reliably stop doing once it begins to work? Basically, like, what is your sabotaging behavior? So what does this collective stop doing once it begins to work? That's interesting. You stop being authentic. So a couple things are coming up as it relates to that. What do I reliably stop doing once it begins to work? It's almost like you get the feeling that I'm getting with this is like you get to this success, and then it's almost as though, like, how do I explain this? It's almost like you think you have to be somebody else. And it feels like what you're forgetting is the reason that you're starting to see this success is because of who you were when you took those actions. And there's something about once you start hitting success, it's like you think you have to become something different than who you were when you did the things that led to this success. All right. So what starts happening right before you start to disengage? What test? What starts to happen right before you get disengaged? And we have test. Well, quite frankly, it feels like when the going gets tough, you get going. But not in the way that saying goes, you know, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. But it feels like for you, it's almost what I'm getting with this is like you think something is going to work, or you test, okay, is this going to take off? And when the test doesn't go accordingly, or the experiment, so to speak, it looks like you disengage. What's coming up for me with that is, because I can completely understand that. It hurts when you fail. Like, it doesn't feel great. But the thing you have to learn, but this is common sense, and I know it's common sense, and I don't mean to diminish any feeling that you have, because it is real for you. Like, and I understand that that's real for you. But with the test, it's like, that's just information. And it's like information that this didn't work in this moment. And that's where you get to start digging a little bit more. So if you fail the test, it's like, what about it failed? And how do you go back to the drawing board? What feelings show up before you pull away? What feelings show up before you pull away? Boundaries. This is funny because it like is really much like, no, I'm done. Nope, get away. I'm done. I feel, so it's like this feeling of protecting yourself. I need to put a boundary up so that this doesn't hurt me. Interesting. Okay. What becomes uncomfortable for you when momentum starts building? What becomes uncomfortable when momentum starts building? Direction. Now that's interesting. I don't know. This seems so common sense to me, so forgive me if this is like a duh. But the thing that's like coming through with that is you don't like the direction the momentum is taking you. I just think that there's something for you to examine that. Like, for example, what about the direction? Is it the pace of the direction? Is it the actual destination? Like, what is it about the direction that you're heading that makes you uncomfortable? Let's see if we can't get a card for that, actually. What is it about the direction that makes you uncomfortable when momentum starts building? Positive. This gives me the feeling, and this seems like I'm having trouble with it because I really am like, who would really have that type of sabotaging behavior? Because it seems like you would really know that that's what's happening, but perhaps that's why you need this to come out. It seems like you're just not used to things being positive. And because it's positive, it makes it very uncomfortable for you. I don't know, maybe it's like you think a shoe is gonna fall, or I don't know. It seems like when good things are happening for you, it makes you automatically go to like, this is gonna end or something. Like, it makes you uncomfortable because it's like, when is the other shoe gonna drop? That's super interesting. Okay, what is harder for you to tolerate? The discomfort of failing or the discomfort of being seen? Well, that isn't really a card question, is it? But I do think it's a good thing for you to answer for yourself. What is harder for you, the discomfort of failing or the discomfort of being seen? To be honest, I think something that's pretty common is actually the combination of that, which is the discomfort of the discomfort of failing and being seen doing so. Right? Because it's almost like if you fail, unless you're terribly mean to yourself, you're not really getting judged for it. You could kind of move in stride. What do I need to fix? Kind of like this test thing, right? What do I need to fix? How did I do this? Although for you, it does seem like even if it isn't other eyes, you're really not comfortable when there's a failure. That seems to be a like a core wound of yours. I say core wound because, in other words, you'd rather feel the comfort of not being seen fail than possibly going after your dreams. Because at least if you don't go after it, you cannot fail and people cannot reject you or make fun of you or whatever it is. I don't know. Is there a card to go with this one? Let's just see what card comes out. What energy goes? Release. All right, I like that card came out because it's basically like whatever it is, you have to be able to release that fear in order to fly. And a lot of times, if we can just do this and answer these questions, and we can see that what we're actually afraid of is not something that's going to hurt us, what I mean, like, it's not going to kill us. Being rejected may not feel good, but it's not going to hurt you. And it almost feels like in this case for you, not going after your dreams is hurting you. Because it's almost like you are stagnant. You feel stagnant. Like there's more. I want more. But in order to experience more, there are things that you have to release. And the discomfort of failing, the discomfort of being seen, and the discomfort of being seen fail all need to be released. We all fail. We don't all fail in the public, but we do all fail. And there are a lot of people who do fail in the public just because there's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, like there's just so much media. All right, let's see what else here. All right, let's see this. Remember, these are kind of all for the sabotaging pattern. Like, why do you sabotage it? So this is a good question here. What changes if things begin to go well? What changes if things begin to go well? We have alchemy, and we have set free. We also have intimacy. That all came out. I think it's really hard for you to shift identities here. The way I'm seeing this with the alchemy, what changes if things begin to go well? You change into something different. No, the alchemical process is literally changing one thing into something differently. So it's like the answer is you change. You change your like identity. The intimacy and the set free is almost like, I feel like there's an identity that you are identifying with that really does need to be set free so that you can alchemize one identity for another. That's just how that makes sense to me. So I'll go ahead and leave that there. Let's see, where are we at? All right, let's do, I don't know, a couple more. What becomes expected of you once you're doing well? What becomes expected of you when you're doing well? Once you're doing well. What becomes expected of you once you're doing well? What becomes expected of you once you're doing well? Nothing. Oop. Interesting. Faith. I'm really noticing, this reminds me of like the Northern Star or the compass. It's almost giving me the impression of you leading people. If things begin to go well, I also feel like it's you become very seen. I also feel like there's something in you that you become a leader. Maybe that's what feels like a drag to you, is this you're like, I don't want to lead. But there's something to this, like leading by example, I feel like, and having faith that you don't have to do any more than what you're already doing. What you're doing is enough. Maybe this is what it is. Okay, like you feel like once it starts going well, you're going to have to do more and do more and do more and do more. But it's like you get to pick the spot where you maybe want to take a break for a year, 2 years, a month, an hour, right? Like you get to decide what feels right with that break, and then you get to move forward. It reminds me of like the candle being lit, it lights up the whole room. It can also, like a lighthouse with boats, that the light, it's not that the light is doing anything more than what it's already doing, right? It's just shining and it's going in circles. But the fact that that light continues allows other boats to find it and to be drawn to it. So you're not leading them, they're following your light. I think that's that. There is one more, like something else that feels like not complete with that. Oh, okay. Like to always be on, to always be the light, to always be guidance for other people. Almost like what becomes expected of you when you're doing well is to not burn out, to always shine this light. And honestly, that's just not, nobody does that. I don't care. I really don't care who you are or what, I mean, anybody says. I have really understood that even the nicest of nice people, with the tenderest of hearts, the kindness of heart, the genuineness in heart, of heart, whatever you want to call that, those people still have bad, if you want to call them bad, but they have moments where they aren't necessarily like their authentic self. Either they're tired, they're angry, something. They're just not in alignment in that moment. So there isn't, when you recognize that you may not be in your highest light or in your highest vibration, I feel like there's just an awareness there, and it's not expected that you're on all the time. It can't be, because nobody can be. So give yourself a little break with that. And also, if this is why you're sabotaging, that also makes sense, because it's almost like, well, if I get to this status, I'm never going to have a break. I'm always going to feel drained. I'm always going to feel like I have to do. And that's just simply not the case. There, I think, will be seasons of that. That's just kind of, again, how life works. But I don't think that that will become your norm. All right, I hope this whisper helped. I know it's a little different than what we've been doing lately. If this whisper supported you by bringing you some clarity or confirmation, please reciprocate that support. My Venmo and PayPal are located in the description if you would like to support this space in a free way. Liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel help these messages reach the people they're meant to find. Until the next whisper, my friends.